Welcome to today's session. I'm your life and wellness coach. I'm Felix Black, and I'm honored to walk with you on this journey of growth and self mastery. I want to start by acknowledging you, not just for you being here, but for being here in this world. Your presence brings value, your voice belongs, and your story is still unfolding. Thank you for choosing yourself today. Let's get started. Let's slow down for a moment. I want you to really tune in to what I'm about to say, not as entertainment, not as background noise, but as a conversation, a coaching session, a reminder, a mirror. Because the truth is, you've had more than enough signs, more than enough nudges, more than enough ideas, visions, dreams, and opportunities to step into a bigger version of yourself. And yet, here we are. Still waiting, still hesitating, still looking around for some kind of green light that never seems to arrive. Today, we're talking about why we wait for permission, why so many intelligent, capable, gifted people get stuck in neutral, why external validation, approval, and the idea of perfect timing keep people smaller than they're meant to be, and more importantly, how to move anyway. There's something we like to call the invisible permission slip. You'd be surprised how many adults are still waiting for a permission slip. It's not literal anymore like when we were in school, but psychologically, it's still there. This quiet expectation that somebody, somewhere, should validate our choices before we make them. We wait for signs from family. We wait for support from friends. We wait for a partner to agree. We wait for society to approve. We wait for a boss to promote us. We wait for a teacher to certify us. We wait for the universe to give us the perfect moment. And while we wait, life happens. Not in small ways, in big ways. Time passes, momentum decays, confidence weakens, dreams age, and eventually hesitation calcifies into identity. We begin to believe that the person who waited is the person we are. But I want you to hear this. You were never meant to audition for your own life. You weren't born to get permission. You were born to get in motion. And motion doesn't require applause, approval, or a committee to sign off on your destiny. It just requires movement. So let's talk a little bit about validation, not in the abstract, but honestly. Every human on this planet needs some level of validation. Infants cry for it, children seek it, teenagers chase it, adults pretend they're above it, but we all feel the pull. Validation at its best builds confidence, creates connection, and gives us feedback from the world. But at its worst, validation becomes a substitute for self-trust. When external validation becomes the fuel, we stop asking ourselves, do I want this? And instead we ask, will people approve of this? Will they applaud it? Will they think that it's smart? Will they think it's impressive? Will they think I belong? Here's the issue with that. Validation often arrives after success, not before. Nobody claps for you at the starting line. They clap at the finish line. They clap when the risk pays off. They clap when the idea becomes reality. So if you're waiting for applause at the beginning, you'll never begin. When someone tells me, I'd start my business, but my family doesn't really get it, or I want to post my work, but what if people don't like it? Another one is, I want to switch careers, but everyone thinks it's unrealistic. What they're really saying is, I need someone else to validate my desire before I trust it. But hear this carefully. Desire itself is already validation. Your vision is evidence. Your intuition is the permission. What are you waiting for? There's this myth that we call perfect timing. Let's talk about timing. because this one stops more people than failure ever has. We tell ourselves stories like, I'll start when things settle down. I'll begin when I have more money. I'll do it when the kids are older. Once I have more confidence, I will. Once I'm certified, I will. Once I'm ready, here's what I'm going to do. But timing is an illusion. It's logistics disguised as destiny. There will always be a reason to delay. There will always be something that isn't lined up, isn't ideal, or isn't guaranteed. Here's the reality no one likes to admit. Perfect timing only becomes visible in hindsight. Perfect timing only becomes visible in hindsight. People don't say, I started at the perfect moment when they begin. They say it after the results are in, after success reframes the timeline. Most breakthroughs didn't happen at convenient moments. They happened in chaos. They happened in uncertainty. They happened in seasons of discomfort and change. If you're waiting for alignment, know this. The only thing that creates alignment is movement. The only thing that creates alignment is movement. You don't get clarity and then move. You move and then clarity arrives. You don't get confidence and then act. You act and confidence forms. Life rewards momentum, not hesitation. So what are you waiting for? Now let's go deeper, because underneath the surface, the real reason we wait has a lot to do with judgment, not failure, not rejection, judgment. Humans, we're social creatures. Our survival historically depended on belonging to the tribe. So the modern ego fears anything that threatens belonging. Something like looking naive, looking unprepared, looking out of place, looking ambitious, looking different, looking like we care too much, looking like we think we're capable of more. It sounds so silly when spoken out loud, but these fears keep people quieter, smaller, and more compliant than failure ever has. Let me ask you this. When you imagine pursuing the thing you want most, what scares you more? Failing at it or people watching you fail at it? Most people fear the audience, not the outcome. A little bit of truth. People already judge you. They judge your silence. They judge your playing small. They judge your potential being unused. So if judgment is inevitable, you might as well be judged for motion, not for being stuck. So what are you waiting for? There is only one force, one, that truly replaces permission: self-trust. Self-trust is not arrogance. It's not delusion. It's not assuming everything will go perfectly. Self-trust is the belief that even if things don't go perfectly, I can handle it. Self-trust isn't about certainty of outcome. It's about the certainty of capability. Self-trust isn't about certainty of the outcome. It's about certainty of the capability. When you trust yourself, you don't need guarantees. You don't need applause. You don't need timing. You don't need permission. You move, and movement itself becomes the evidence. So what are you waiting for? How do we stop waiting? Let's shift from philosophy to practical application. Because hearing all of this is one thing, living it is another. Here are 5 shifts that stop the endless waiting loop. Number 1, Replace permission with decision. Decision is one of the most powerful forces in human behavior. It closes the exit doors. It collapses doubt. It eliminates debate. Once you decide, the mind starts looking for pathways instead of excuses. Number 2, replace validation with ownership. Ask a new question. Do I approve of this path? Does this feel aligned for me? When the answer is yes internally, external approval becomes irrelevant. Number 3, replace perfect timing with micro action. If you can't take the big leap, take the smallest possible step forward. Action creates clarity. Clarity creates momentum. Momentum makes timing irrelevant. Number 4, normalize being seen in the beginning. Let people witness the early, messy, unrefined version of you, because the beginning is never supposed to look impressive. Beginnings are supposed to look like beginnings. Number 5, build a bias toward doing. Overthinkers worship planning. High performers worship execution. If you want to stop waiting, you have to make movement your default, not your reward. So what are you waiting for? Here's the invitation. Simple, direct, clear. Stop waiting for permission. There is no committee in charge of your destiny. There is no judge who certifies your dreams as legitimate. There is no timing fairy who sends you a calendar invite labeled, "Today is the perfect day to begin." There's just you, your desire, your instinct, your capacity, your responsibility, and your life. If you feel the pull toward more, that is not a mistake. That is not a fantasy. That is not a delusion. That is guidance. Your desires are instructions. Your dreams are coordinates. Your intuition is direction. And the moment you move, momentum joins you. Not because you asked for permission, but because you finally stopped needing it. So what are you waiting for?